I became a Christian when I was finishing university in 1964, and that was very dramatic, actually, the situation, because 3 people from the church where my parents went to, those 3 people were put into the prison. I was faced with a moral decision whether I will identify myself with the people who were put into the prison, or if I will still silent, I would identify with the people who put them to the prison. And finally, actually, I made a decision to identify with those who were put into the prison from our church, because they haven't done anything, just organizing Bible studies or just students or prayer meetings. What's wrong with it? And me personally, I got in touch with the Navigators when I was studying in Finland in 1973-74. I just realized that the main vision of the Navigators, working man to man, would fit perfectly into the situation in Czechoslovakia, where I come from. Because it was like in prison in that time in Czechoslovakia, deep under the communism. And I really strongly believe that the man-to-man you can do even in prison. I was living in the communism my 47 years. All that time I had the possibility to observe in many cases the power of the gospel, the power of the Bible to change the people's life. Under the communism, there was a strict regulation on the church, so that, for example, the minister of one church was not allowed to travel to another city without permission from the state authorities. Well, here in Bratislava, we had visitors from the Eastern Slovakia once, and we were sitting in a room with that minister from Eastern Slovakia, and talking, and and actually it was in the house of my older friend and my spiritual father, and so 3 of us, we were sitting in the room, and suddenly somebody was ringing on the bell, and the secret police guy, he wanted to go in. And the wife of my older brother let him come in, and he went into the living room, and he found us there sitting together, you know, having discussion. So he joined to us, and he asked what's new in Eastern Slovakia. So he actually recognized the man. And it was obvious that something is going to happen here. So he asked many questions. And it's time of the lunch came. And in our country, well, the people used to be quite hospitable. And so that the lady of the house, she invited us all 4 to the lunch. And we sit there at the table, and the minister from the Eastern Slovakia, he started to pray. And he prayed for the man and asked Lord to bless him and his wife and his children and his family. And then he gave thanks for the meal, and he said amen. But as he finished his prayer, the man stood up and he ran to the window, and obviously he was crying. And well, we were shocked, frozen, and we were sitting silent, what's happening? Then he turned back and he said, well, I'm here to as a watchdog, to go after you. and you are praying for me. I couldn't really handle that without the tears. That's what he said. And and then he said, you pray for the blessing, but I need to tell you that my child is just going through the very severe the illness, and she needs to be go into the surgery as well. And I really trust that your God would listen your prayer for my child. And it was very interesting because since that, basically he left secret police. He couldn't handle that there. But a few times that the people who were serving to the government, they suddenly realize what awful thing they do. And they turn, and they change their mind, and they become protective of the church and the ministry and the people. For a while, his wife with a child, she was even attending our church, but then they decided not to, because it would even more harm the church than really help. We were treated as second-hand citizens, but the gospel actually lead us to love our enemies as well. So it was interesting when I was sitting with a police officer, and I was thinking that this person is not my enemy. He has a spiritual needs as I have. And in '89, when the communism collapsed, and I was just in that street, I was really crying. It was very strong emotional and spiritual experience for me, because I just realized that the communism with the whole military and secret power might collapse when God says it's enough.